Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Soul Connection. It's our second show tonight. So if you're joining us, we've got a few people on already. Welcome and welcome back, hopefully. Got my husband here, Brent, with me tonight, too.
Hi, everyone.
So he'll be joining me on most every show that I have. It's just something for us to do together here, too. And he knows a lot of the people that I know. So a fun time for both of us to, interview those people together too. So hi, Deb. Thanks for coming on. All right. So my guest today is my former personal trainer and friend, Shalene. And here she is. You can come on in, Shalene.
Hi.
Hi. You'll have to, how do you pronounce your new last name?
Polito.
Okay. All right. I wasn't quite sure. So she is a newlywed too, and we'll get to talking about that. So I was at the CrossFit gym, worked my way up to doing that after having back surgery about 7 years ago. So got to know a few folks through the gym, and Shalene is one of those people. She started getting into training people, and I switched from one trainer to her after I kind of took a hiatus, on another hiatus again right now too. But we became fast friends for sure. When you're working with somebody closely, doing training and stuff like that, you create a bond with that person. So we definitely didn't we, Shalene?
Yes.
We
did.
So, and when we first kind of reconnected, Shalene had come to me for a reading. She had lost her dog, Diesel, and a good friend of hers, Tony. So I think it was Diesel first that you came in and we did a reading, and then started talking about my self-love class. And then she came and took that class with me one-on-one. And so we've got some pictures of Shalene here if you want to put some of those up. We've got her in her competition here. So she does bodybuilding competitions. And that is was that last fall?
Yep, this last July, actually. So last year, July. It's almost a year ago now.
Okay. All right. So, you look at that picture. There she is with her husband, Irving.
Holy tree trunks, Irving. Sorry.
Yes. Look at those muscles.
It's like the running joke at the gym is always like, dude, do you do leg day?
Hi, Tammy. Hi, Rayanne. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. So, yeah, you look at somebody like that, you see her picture and you think, oh, gosh, this person has it all together. They got it all figured out and they love themselves. But, it's not always the case. You just never know what people are going through in their lives. So why I wanted to have Shalene come on is just to be real with us. You're so open and so real all the time. And I think what better of a person to share about your journey here of discovering, self-love, because a lot of people do have that judgment on others, and they look at somebody like, oh, they look put together, they must have it all together and they must be happy. So first of all, let's kind of just rewind a little bit here and tell us about what got you into fitness.
So actually, when I was in college at the University of Dubuque, I always ran a lot. So I was a big runner. I used to play soccer in high school and I did cross country then. So running and being active was always kind of something I enjoyed. And I had met one of my best friends in school, and she probably pestered me for 2 years to try CrossFit with her. She would even try to get me to do workouts with her at our school gym. And I still remember the day that she tried to get me to front squat and teach me to put my elbows up and rotate them around to hold the bar here. And I just remember how awkward, uncomfortable it was. And I was like, I can't do this. This isn't for me.
Yeah.
And then I finally did go to a class, and then I was sold after that. I wanted to be the strongest person ever. I wanted to be strong, and I loved the feeling it gave me every time I left the class. I mean, I was dying, but fitness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was good.
Yes. There's nothing easy about it, is it?
No.
Oh, and there's nothing easy about doing, your healing yourself, internally, the mind either, is it? It's like, it's kind of you just say, how would you describe the two? Are they similar?
Yeah, very much so. When you're first starting out, like exercising or trying new things in general, it's hard and you have to talk yourself into it every single time you go and like you want to quit so bad because your body hurts and you just want to break. And it's like, okay, well, if I take a break today, then I can take a break tomorrow and the next day. And then it's pretty soon it's 2 weeks. And when was the last time you were at the gym, or when was the last time you were doing your new thing that you've learned, or, whatever. So it's just like getting in the habit of that and having to like almost rework your brain so that you, continuously like have to fight yourself to go back. And just pretty soon then it's like just disciplined in. It's not a habit anymore. It's just discipline. You just get up and you just go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 And like the work on yourself internally. So, yeah, what drew you to take the first steps to doing the self-love class?
I'm really hard on myself, and I've gotten better over like the last few years since I've taken the class, but I am very, like, I would really take things personally. And if like I would remember things or people that I've hurt from, when I was a kid to like growing up and in high school and even in my adult life, and I would just hang on to those things and just think that I was just such a terrible person because I hurt somebody's feelings, and I didn't know how to make it right, or like an apology was never good enough because to me, I still said that, or I still like hurt their feelings, and I just couldn't let go of all of the guilt that I felt with all of that. And I didn't love myself for it. So I had read, I think either we talked about it or you had told me about your self-love class and different things. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to go to like a group setting, but I will definitely do it on my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was kind of the route that we took. And I'm really glad because it worked best for me that way. And it was nice because instead of, when you go to therapy, sometimes I feel like, because that's kind of what it is, almost like therapy. But I feel like when I'd go to therapy at other places, you're telling this person how you're feeling, and, they don't really like come back and give you like a connection, I guess, or like relate with you. And you would share with me, you would, things that you had to overcome yourself, or to like different thing, to just get where you were, and how you had to like change yourself to love yourself. And that was like a big thing for me, because it's like, okay, I'm not alone. Like, I'm not the only one that has these thoughts, or that like is this hard on themselves and like has a trouble letting go of their past. I know I'm not alone. So
yeah, definitely. I think that's important for people to know too, that, yeah, you're not alone. There's, everybody, it's surprising like how many people feel very similar in this world, and we tend to go at it alone and not share those feelings. So yeah, it's been amazing to watch you grow in that spiritual sense too. So
I was definitely a person that was like not into my feelings. I thought that the feelings made me weak. I didn't want to cry. Like, I didn't want to do anything like that or let anybody know how I was feeling. I was very great at compartmentalizing and just shoving things down and just carrying on. So by doing that class, it's helped me become very much more emotional. And now I'm just like, yeah, I guess I just cry now. So it is what it is. You just do things like that.
Yep.
Well, I totally think you're a different person than when we first met, 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, you were cool then, but it's like now, yeah, you can just definitely tell the weight's not on your shoulders as much or whatever. And you're a person that's always surrounded by a lot of people, a lot of friends. So it's, nobody ever, you have that, but nobody ever thinks, okay, what's internally going on in there. So
yeah. Yeah. And, you know, the work that you do with your personal training too, like that helps people too, because when you're working on your body, your mind's involved just as much too. I mean, how many times did you sit with me and cry about different things to work through that? Working out tends to bring out that emotional stuff too. So that's got to be a huge benefit. You healing yourself now and being able to help other people. So how was that? How do you feel like that's affected what you do in your work now?
It's so rewarding to know that I've made like a positive impact in somebody's life, whether it's like with my day job now at the bank, like hearing somebody tell, like just today, for instance, like this, I had a customer with just an issue with a credit card, and all I had to do, and she could have done it, but I did it. And I called in and handled it for her. And she just had to, verify some different things. And at the end of it, she was like, thank you so much. I wouldn't have known how to do this. Like, you were so patient with me. And I'm just like, it just makes my heart so happy, because it's just like, all I ever want to do is make people happy and like make people like believe in themselves and see themselves the way that I see them or wish for them to see. So I like working out, and all of that has kind of correlated to my new job and how I deal with the public. And even before, I was a personal trainer, and I had this job before in the past. I worked at this bank, and I had taken a couple years off to do personal training. And I feel like I really needed that time away from it to help myself grow, especially in, my customer relationship aspect, or like just with like my own clients or different people, because I feel like my relationships now are even so much different. They just hold so much more like meaning and value. And those are the relationships that like I want to keep.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And, speaking of relationships, you're newly married. So we have a couple of pictures of your wedding too aw. Look at it. He's so cute. That's awesome. So you and Irving, and he is a bodybuilder as well. So you want to share a little bit how the two of you met, and it's like, how you like, I just,
Our
watching
journey.
you evolve through all this, your journey too, in the last couple of years, like, my gosh, like how fast that happened for the two of you when you were like, I don't even know if you were even looking at the time. It was just like, you're still trying to figure you out, but you were becoming more and more happy, like, within yourself. So like, okay, like that just sets you up for like good things to happen in your life. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your relationship and how that evolved.
So we'll start from the beginning. I was previously actually in a relationship for like 8.5 years before I was with Irving. And part of the reason why I got connected with Melissa was because of the struggles I was having in that relationship. And I had started getting into bodybuilding. I wanted to do competitions, and that was something that I was doing on my own, that I was getting support from just for my family. So my first show I had ever done, I just did kind of, a friend helped me get set up with that. And it was here in Dubuque. It was local. And then after that, I realized I needed a coach, and it kind of gave me like the bodybuilding bug, they call it. And so then I was like,
picture back up here too. Sorry. While we're talking about, we got some more viewers. So if they want to see Shalene's posing here with her bodybuilding, yeah, rocking. It's awesome.
So after my first show, it hooked me. I loved the feeling of the hard work that being in the gym, like how you can showcase that. And it wasn't about parading around in a bikini, and it wasn't about like showing off your body. It was about showing off the work that you did and how hard you work for yourself. So I had hired Irving, actually my husband, to be my coach for the following year at a couple different shows that I did. And he was my bodybuilding coach. He was also in a relationship at the time for a really long time as well. And he also does muscle restoration, like deep tissue massage, like therapy. So while I'm getting ready for all these shows and I am doing all this stuff, my body needed all this work too. So he was also working on me at the same time. And so our friendship really just grew from there. And it was never anything besides that. It was always very just like strictly business. Like we never flirted or anything like that. It was just, hey, this is what I need. Great. Thank you. Very coach athlete aspect relationship. And then can't come around to Christmas, like not last year, but the year before. So almost 2 years ago. I had my sister, we lost my brother-in-law. My sister was going through a lot with that. Hey, Mom.
Yes, Mom is here.
Hi. We had lost my brother-in-law, and at that time, like I had already taken my self-love class with Melissa, and I was feeling a lot of different emotions with myself. I was definitely more confident in who I was. I was feeling like stronger with who I wanted to be, and that the expectations that I had set for myself and the kind of partner I wanted were not unrealistic expectations. They were normal things that somebody should want. And I had separated then from my partner. And then a month later, Irving ended up separating from his partner. And we didn't really even know about it, either of us, for a little while. And then we had mutual friends that had started seeing each other. So that's when we kind of were starting to like hang out more. And then, and even still, he never flirted with me. It was just so funny. And like our friends would make comments and they'd be like, well, you guys should go on a date. And I'm just like, what? Like, I'm so confused. Like I didn't know like what they knew that I didn't or whatever. And so then one day Irving called me and he was like, hey, I really got to talk to you. Do you have a few minutes? Can I come over? And so I was like, yeah, sure. So then he came over and he pretty much expressed how much he liked me. And he just thought that like I was a great person. And I didn't really know what to do or what to say at that time. So we always joke that like I kind of face palmed him that first day because I was like, that's nice. Thank you. Because going back to like compartmentalizing my feelings, like I needed that time to like really think about what he had said to me and see how I was really feeling about it. So the next day I saw him in the morning at the gym and I just gave him a big hug and I was like, I'd appreciate if you would just like stick around for a little bit, like hang out with me or something. And then, yeah, after that, that was it. He had come over that day, we hung out and then he never left.
Aw, I know. I remember like all of a sudden you're like, well, I got some news for you. I'm like, what did this happen?
And I wasn't like, I was so content at that time with just like figuring out like the things that I was going to do. I was very happy with where I was at in life. Just like I even thought to myself, like, I am okay. Like if I never get into another serious relationship, like I would have been okay with it at that time because it was like, I can do things by myself. Like I enjoy my own company. And then it's like, as soon as I felt like I was okay with myself, then all of a sudden, like the universe presented this gift to me.
Yeah.
And we talk all the time about how neither of us ever wanted to get married and neither of us ever wanted to have kids or do anything like that. And we dated for 6 weeks and got married. So
when you know.
Yes. And that is so true. It was like a 3-day thing. Like on a Friday, I swear he asked me if, could we get married? And I was like, yeah, yep. And I had asked my best friend again to be our officiant. And I like was trying very hard to listen to my gut the whole time and make sure I was not making a decision based off of something that somebody else wanted, but of something that I wanted. Because I would do that in the past. I would make decisions based off of things that other people wanted and not something that was good for me or something that I actually wanted.
Yeah.
And so the whole weekend went by, and then that Monday came, because the way my schedule worked that time, I was only off on Mondays and Tuesdays. So on a Monday night, we made our family hike down into the Swiss Valley here. It's like a recreational hiking trail. And we hiked them all in like a 35-minute walk to our favorite spot. They were not happy. And yeah, I wouldn't trade that for anything. It was like the most beautiful thing I could have ever had or asked for, or it was just so special. And yeah, every time I think about that or like watch video, I made a video of our wedding day, like a TikTok of all the things. And every time I watch it, I just like, it almost makes me want to cry, because I just feel so overwhelmed with all the things of like, I did it. Like I got here, like I actually found somebody that wants to be my partner in my life and like make my life easier and not add stress to my day. But hey, I have this free time today. Do you need anything done? What can I do for you? Type, and I'm very blessed and very fortunate to find somebody that has all of that and wants to do the same things that I want to do, or has the same goals that I have.
Yeah, I remember seeing you the next day in the gym, and you were waiting for me in the parking lot and ran and gave me a huge hug, just a smile on your face. That was cool to see. That was when you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that saying is so true. Like I think I even told you one time, like I remember that I couldn't get my button on for my show. Like I couldn't get it pinned into my bikini right. So I had to go back out when he was my coach, and I was like, hey, I need your help with this. Like I can't get my button on right. And he like, all he did was like just touch my hip where my pin had to go. And like, it was like this like skin connection, and it like just sent like electricity up my back. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, what's that?
Yeah. Did you get a discount on the coach?
What's that?
You get a discount on the coaching now?
Well,
So, any advice for, especially young women? You're what, in your you're in your 20s, mid-20s, right, Shalene? Yeah.
I'm 29 now.
29, okay. But any advice any advice for especially younger women too, that, just feel so insecure about themselves? Maybe they're in a relationship where they aren't feeling fulfilled and they don't know how to get out because, it just becomes something natural, or shouldn't be natural, but they just kind of feel stuck. So what kind of advice do you have for young females?
At the end of the day, only you know when you're ready. Everybody else can tell you to leave, to do all the things, but like only you know when you're ready to do it. And finding a place or like a community, like CrossFit was my community. CrossFit is what also helped give me like a push to love myself, because I was going to a gym where everybody else loved me and I didn't understand why, or like what was so great about me that like these other people could love this person. And I think it's just so important to find a community like that and just keep going every day and check in with the people that are only bringing you positive light into your life. Like I've cut off everybody in my life that didn't bring me peace, honestly, or like bring happiness to my life, because if you're constantly draining my energy, like it made me feel like sick all the time. And I just like, I couldn't do that. And I don't want to do that. That's not the life I want for myself. So I feel like you really just got to figure out like who you are. Like you need to ask yourself, like if somebody was going to describe me to anybody, like the top 3 things that I would want them to know is that I'm genuinely a really nice person. I care, and I'm disciplined, and I'm loyal. Like those are things I want people to know about me. And when Melissa would first ask me that, I'm like, I don't know, like, who am I? So you need to figure out like who you are and carry that and hang on to that to continue on to fight through the next few stages of your life. I feel like.
Yeah. So, do you think some of these tools, you've done how many competitions now since you've taken the class? A couple?
I want to say like 5, maybe. I think I've done 5.
Okay. So do you think that has helped you too, like finding that love for yourself and preparing for? Because I mean, I've watched you go through your prep. This is very disciplined. I mean, this is not for everybody. So I mean, I think God, you have to have great insight about yourself, great emotional like connection with yourself too, to like really prep for something like this. So like yeah, tell us about all of that. Like, what gets you through getting ready for competition?
Prep is terrible. But I also think, like, again, it's your mindset. So it's like, how often are you working on your mind? So every day when, even when I have like a negative thought, or, like my husband and I love him, he loves me, but we're not always going to get along or see eye to eye every day. And so instead of like sitting in that and just being like, well, this could be different, or if I did this, or if he would have just done this. And it's just like, no, like, what can I do to make this better for the both of us? Like, cause it's not just me and it's not just him, it's both of us, And so how can I make this how can I turn this into a positive outcome? How can I turn my brain around so that I'm not sitting here thinking about this negative aspect of it? I need to think about how I can turn it around and make it like a positive thing, a learning experience. How are we going to grow from that? So I feel like you really have to get in your head. And when it comes time to prep, I like currently right now I'm at like 3,300 calories that I eat every single day. And sometimes when I'm in a prep for a show, I'm down to like 2,000 or 1,800, like depending on where my body physique is at, like leading up to that. And you usually do like a 12 to a 16 week prep. So that's like 4 months or 5 months. Like it's almost a half a year.
Yeah.
And if you're eating clean when you're not in prep, so I take a lunch bag with me to work every single day. I eat all the same food that I would genuinely eat if I was in prep, but I eat more of it right now with a little bit more variety. But I take that with me every day because I'd rather put on more lean muscle than have like pizza every night or, different things like that, like at the end of the day, actually don't make me feel good. Because now that I don't eat that stuff, if I have too much sugar, it makes me sick. Even alcohol, like say you don't drink alcohol when you're in prep, I could probably have a glass of champagne and it would make my stomach hurt the next day. Like I would feel like I'd have like, what is that? Not like acid reflux, heartburn.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like it would give me heartburn. And I'm like, I've never had heartburn in my life. So it's just like, unless you just get old and that's just what happens.
Yeah.
But, it's just really all in the way you talk to yourself. And it's even simple everyday things. Like if somebody cuts you off on the road, instead of screaming at them and yelling at them because they can't hear you anyway, like clearly you had somewhere to go, like, I'll see you later.
Yeah. Not letting that shit bother you. Like,
yeah. Like the things that you can't control, like you just have to let it go.
I'm pretty sure you flipped me off. I'm pretty sure you flipped me off the other day.
Well, it just depends on what you're doing, so.
Yeah. Poor Shalene has to coach my husband once a week.
And she did used to be competitive. During the opens, yes.
Yes. I love it.
She's not a good trash talker.
No.
Sorry.
I feel bad. I'd be like, eat shit. And then, oops, sorry. I'd like, I'd do that. And then I'd feel bad about it. I'm not good at trash talk. I'd be like, crap. He's probably going to go home and be like, this is what Shalene said to me today. Like, what a terrible person. And I'd be like,
no. I don't blame you if you do.
Yeah, she said, oh, good for her is what she said.
Yeah, that's what I say. Oh, shoot.
Yeah. But where was I going with that? I feel like I had a point there.
Sorry about you were going about the cars and not being upset when.
Yeah, just letting stuff go.
Yeah.
Just like, you can't control everything. So only focus on the things you can control.
Oh, good. We're not in trouble for using that word.
Yeah. Is Irving, is he ready? Does he want to come on?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay.
We're just talking about you. Come on over.
Yes. I have Irving join us now too. Hi, Irving.
This is my husband.
So cute. Thanks for joining us.
Look at Remy.
Yeah, there's Remy.
He's like, I'm here too.
Remy would come to the gym too. Remy still does, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. Have gym dogs.
He's a good gym dog. Yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
it's funny because some of the early morning class people that I have at 5 a.m. were not very dog people. And like the first few times I brought them, they'd be like, hey dog. And now they come in, they're like, Remy. And they're so excited to see him. And I'm just like, see, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's like, brings a little therapy.
Well, I thank you for sharing too about, like the dynamic of husband and wife too. And, we do, take things to heart, especially when you get married and you have arguments about things. It's two different people trying to come together to make a life. And sounds like, you guys give each other a lot of grace in that way too at times. So
We try.
yeah, sometimes it's not always easy, but so Irving, we're just having Shalene share about like how her spiritual journey has impacted her, her competition, getting ready, prepping for all of that too. How about you? You do competitions as well, and are you still going for Mr. Olympia? Are you going to do that?
So, okay, yep. So I've done a total of 9 shows. I'll be hoping to start prep here like middle of summer, shooting for like a winter show, which it'd be like 2 years for me since the last time I competed.
Those legs.
So on that aspect of it, I'm just like the bodybuilding part for me. Like this next year is going to be hopefully really good. Every year has been better. I've done like bigger and better shows every year. So like this year, like my whole like goal is like, cool, if you can make it and like win, like you get to be to that next level, which like for me is like a pro, which would hopefully like just like light it up on like, you're going to compete right away if you're ready in the pro circuit. So that's my goal this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty excited about that.
So lots of prayers. We get a pro card this year.
Yes, that would be awesome. Awesome. So, Irving, you've joined us on the Gong Bath. I think is it only one time you've come to the Gong Bath?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, what was your takeaway from that experience?
It was really cool actually, because like the gym relationship to like where you need to put yourself at, like mentally, just kind of letting things go. On it just reminded me a lot of that, where I'm like, hey, like you're just here, like just let it go. And it felt really good to just be able to like wander, doze. I guess I'm so like wound up a lot of the times that it was really nice to be able to just like let go. It was great. Like for me, I just felt like rested and relaxed. Like I know obviously like stress is a huge thing that we talk about in like the fitness world, so anything you can do to like just even reduce that or drop that down. It was for me, it was pretty awesome.
Good. I guess I just wanted to ask because I never asked you, and I'm like, well, I'll put you on the spot. Sorry. So for those of you that are wondering, like, what are you talking about, the Gong Bath? So if you caught my first episode, we talked about my other business, which is a sound healing studio. We use gongs and crystal singing bowls. It's very, very profound experience. And Shalene's done many herself as well. So yeah, I mean, it all works together. Like, yeah, the fitness and the relaxation, because yeah, if you are wound up and you aren't relaxed, like that probably has an effect on like your whole body chemistry too, right? How you lose weight and all that.
When you're stressed, you can't, your body has all this extra cortisol in your system. So people that are, are trying to diet or trying to lose weight or things like that, like they can't because they're so stressed. So their body's just hanging on to everything. And then they get frustrated even more because they're not dropping. So then it's just like, well, you got to figure out what's stressing you out and then like relax from that. Like you need to just like now, yeah, it's hard to tell. It's easier said than done.
Yeah. Yes.
For
Yes.
sure. But it's definitely just like stepping back and being like, okay, why am I triggered by this? What is upsetting me? How can I like what's like basically what's the root cause for this and how can I readjust and move forward?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the next time Diesel lays on his side.
Yeah, so that's a good segue because I want to talk about you coming to me for readings and talking about your dog Diesel, so channeling Diesel, and Tony, your brother-in-law. So we do have a picture of Diesel that we can show. And do you want to? Oh, look at him! He's so cute. Talk to us a little bit and share about Diesel. A little insight to his world.
I got Diesel when I was 19. And he was the first dog I ever had. I had a family dog or tried to have a family dog when I was younger, and that didn't work out so well. We ended up having to get rid of her, and it crushed me. So when I got Diesel, I was like just very happy to have somebody or something that loved me for just the way I was, which is crazy. But I think that's why sometimes like I feel like women, like a girl, like at that time, I'm like, I needed a dog. Like I needed him to rely on. And so Diesel was my guy. I took him everywhere with me. He had such a quirky personality. And whenever he'd get the zoomies, he would like look like a rabbit bouncing around all over the place. It was just so funny. And he ended up getting I noticed that the muscle in his shoulder was it just didn't feel right, and ended up taking him to Madison to get that leg amputated. He had developed cancer, and so then we went through like 20 rounds of chemo radiation up in Madison, and I would drive out every weekend to pick him up and bring him home on Friday and Monday. Drive him back on Monday, pick him up on a Friday. And it was so cute because everybody there loved him. So it was like as soon as we get in the parking lot and start walking to the door, his tail would start going crazy and he's just hopping on these 3 legs and like trying to hurry up and get inside. And then the vet techs would come and greet him and he would just be so excited and jumping around, like just excited to go get his chemo treatments, you know? So I'm like, at least I knew that. He was like being really good, like really well taken care of. And they had told me one time that they didn't even put him in a kennel, that he just like got to hang out with them all the time because he was just so good. And they had said once, they're like, he growled one time at another dog, and we were all just looking at him and we're like, Diesel, and he'd look at them and then he'd just stop and they're just like, yep, like you rule the roost, we get it.
Now, it's been a while since we did the reading, but what did I can't remember, but he came forth like helping you through what you were kind of going through, like when we first connected.
Yeah, when my self-love class and leaving that relationship, like was all, Diesel was like there telling me through most of it that like I already knew what I had to do, that I needed to just do it. I would be so much happier if I would just do the things that I knew in my gut I needed to do, that I don't need to be scared it would work out in the end. And that was honestly what kept me there for so many years, is I was just terrified to be on my own. And now when I look back and after I did all that, I'm like, why was I so scared? Like, why was I terrified to do that? It was silly. And so, yeah. And I pray, I talk to Diesel every day. You know, I'm always asking him to sit with me in my car and ride with me everywhere I go. And at night when I go to bed, I'm always like, whenever I say goodnight to the dogs in Irving, like I send out a little like goodnight to Diesel, and I have his ashes right on the other side of our room. So I have to shut the window in the morning. That's part of my job. Irving opens it at night and I shut it in the morning. Because I'm a hot box and I get really hot at night. So even if it's -20 outside, that window is cracked open.
That's good for you though. They say it's good for you.
But I keep his ashes right there. So like I can just like run my hand over him in the morning and just like tell him good morning and shut that window. And I don't know, that dog, he was that was like the hardest thing I ever had to do when I put him down.
Yeah.
It was
There's
awful.
no doubt he's with you because that gong bath when he laid I was next to you and he was pushing into me and I'm like trying to get my meditation, but realizing there's really no dog here. But the dog's like really pushing in.
Using Bren as like a wall, but like really he wanted to cuddle with his mom.
Yeah, I got the back end.
Sandwiched in between the two of you. Yes.
I don't know. Yeah. It was like, it was crazy, but yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. And he likes to hang out in the gong room still. So we've had,
he does.
Yes. Like touching people and like, what is that? So like, he can be he's the meditation studio dog. So
good.
Yeah.
I always think of like, in our readings, because Tony passed and then it was Diesel right after Tony. And it like made me feel so much better because you told me that like Diesel and Tony were together. Like they were running together. Like you just saw Tony with Diesel on the leash just standing there and Diesel had all of his legs and that those two were just like running wild on adventures with each other. And so that made me like feel good to know that like they had each other.
Yeah.
And I hope that they still run in together.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm definitely sure of it. Yes. And your horses, I forgot to ask you for a picture of your horses too, but how are the horses doing too?
They're good. Yeah. I actually have a vet coming to check them out. It's time to get their teeth done. So they're just like us and they need to get like their teeth sawed down sometimes because they get like really sharp and then it's hard for them to chew. So I had a mare that I bought when I was 12 and she was 2. So she's going to be 20 years old this year. And then I bred her a couple years ago. So I have her son too. His name's Apollo and he's going to be 6 at the end of April.
Aww.
So wait, what kind of dentist do you go to that you get your teeth one down?
Is this a joke?
No, she said that just like us, we need to get our teeth filed down. I'm like, mine don't get that sharp.
For the vampires. For the vampires dentist.
So I just called the vet, honestly, and they have to come out and give them like a little bit of an anesthetic. So like they're still awake because they have to stand, but they put this like thing in their mouth to pry their mouths open. And then they have this like long equipment piece with this little like circular knob on the end, like this wig, and they just like stick it in there and it spins and then they just like saw their teeth down.
Wow.
Like when Apollo was born, she pulled his baby tooth, so I got to have his teeth. So like I've been around him for everything, so that I just it's awesome.
Oh, there's Remy back there.
Squeaking
away.
Squeaking is cool. Just got him a new ball and he's like, yeah, here it is.
Aw. So, kind of going back to and talking about, you guys are definitely heavily involved with fitness. Like any, pointers for other people out there that are just, average Joes wanting to maybe start a fitness program or, do some better, clean eating, things like that. Like any tips to like how to start out doing things?
Baby steps. It's really hard to go and just switch your whole lifestyle and like just cut off eating all the stuff that you're used to eating and just totally switch your diet or like just all of a sudden start going to the gym 5 days a week. So I say I would recommend just baby steps. So maybe you're in the gym like 3 days a week and you're making more cleaner choices with your food habits. So instead of shopping in the insides of the grocery store, you're shopping around the outside of the grocery store where all the fresh fruits are, your vegetables, your meats, your produce, like things like that. Small changes will make a difference. And then as you go from there, then maybe it's you hire a coach for something, or you join a class somewhere, or you find a community that you like CrossFit classes, or, there's Orange Theory in Dubuque, or like Irving does personal training too. So if you want to coach for that, or like a nutrition coach, you can always get more assistance with that as you progress. But it's really hard to just start. And so, just just start somewhere.
Starts, yeah.
And I would say not to be intimidated by people in the gym
Yes.
because they were all there at one point, and I have never had, in my experience, ever anybody negative with me during workout. So that would be terrible.
Yeah, and
you can't jump that high.
It is a scary place to walk into. I remember my first few times too with Mike, and he would just be like, "You got to just relax. You got to relax." And I was always very competitive, being involved in tennis in high school, and we were runners until I had my back surgery about 7 years ago. But yeah, to go in there and start from the ground up, like, it's intimidating to people, and you can see it when they walk in too. So
they're like deer in the headlights, scared.
Yeah. I see Alex is watching. She just jumps
Hey.
right over the box. She didn't even jump on it. I'll just jump over.
She's like, "Well, you said jump overs," and I'm like, "You're just like an elite athlete. That's it."
I think the important thing too, is just like it's all connected. So yeah, you can have the best physique, but if you don't have, your crap figured out in the inside, like, what good is it really to have that awesome physique? You want to feel good at, inside and out. So
yeah, exactly.
Just start. Hashtag just start. So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
You can have the best looking body in the world and be a huge, not nice person. And like your personality will suck. Huh?
You guys see a lot of that?
Yeah, I mean, but you see it anywhere, like whether
like in your competitions, like the people that are all have it together, or like look like they have it together.
The biggest thing I've ever seen competition wise, like, the people look great, but they're like, it could be just like a head case with things, and you're just like there's nothing else you can change today, but like you're upset or you're mad, and now like your physique, again, stress will go up with people. But I definitely think the biggest thing that I've seen, like it comes down to like discipline for a lot of people, where I'm like, you're so disciplined about like trying to make your body look that great, but at the end of the day, like mentally, like it's just you're just not strong enough yet to like have that go hand in hand. So like bodybuilding wise, I've seen a lot of people that'll do shows and then like will fall off because of it's just hard, and it's that aspect of it. And then they might never go to a gym again because they're discouraged. I have been there, versus like, okay, great, you were there, that's awesome, like that means you can be there again. Just pushing through that again. So like falling off that bike and getting back on, like I think that's been like one of the hardest things that I've seen, like people that I've looked up to, people that I'm like, wow, you had a great physique and look at what happened, like what is going on, and like the mental aspect of it, I think like you're asking on that, I feel like that's the hardest part. Because I always tell people, like, once you get into that like routine of going to the gym, that's fun. Like an hour worth of working out, like it might be hard, but like overall it's like fun. It's everything else that comes with it. It's balancing your life, work, relationships, it's everything else that comes with it. That becomes a challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah, that balance, definitely. Yeah, Rayanne says, "Beauty is skin deep, but ugly goes straight to the bone." My grandma always said. Yeah, talking.
Oops,
go ahead.
And I feel like now that I'm more like aware, I guess, of like all these different things in my life, or like the things I've changed about myself, and how much more I like truly love myself, because I wouldn't be able to be in this relationship with if I didn't. But it just it makes you see other people then who, like, other people that do love themselves, but then you also see the other people that you're just like, shoot, man, I wish you took the class that I took, because you would feel so differently about yourself if you would just like get out of your head and try something different.
Yes, I think that's key. Get out of your head and try something different.
Yeah, like you're the only one standing in your own way, like just try something different, even if you think it's not going to work. Like, you got to do something to get going in a better direction.
Yeah. Doing that deep work, a lot of those questions that through the self-love class, they're tough, thinking about things from the past, traumatic events maybe that you went through as a child. But we're all a product of our childhood, how we were raised, the things that we were taught, and sometimes it's not always a healthy way. And learning to overcome that and figuring a whole new way is a foreign thing for a lot of people. So if you can get through that and get on a better path, like, wow. I mean, even though the struggle at first is going to be tough, once you get through that threshold, it's like, man, sky's the limit. People keep themselves from so many beautiful, wonderful things, from being scared. And like you said, you look back at your life too, like, why was I so scared? What was I afraid of? What was holding me back? You didn't really know. And I think, a lot of people don't really know until they start doing the work.
Yeah. And like, just to add off of that, like, it's okay to be embarrassed. Like, it's okay to feel embarrassed about the things that have happened to you in your life or the things that you've done, because nobody's perfect and everybody else has done something. And if somebody says that they've never hurt anybody's feelings, they're lying. Like, like we've
all been an asshole to somebody, right?
Yes. Like, we've all been there. And if you can recognize it and own it and just like, I'm not going to treat somebody else like that, I'm going to move forward from that, then great. Like, own that and then just move on from it.
Yeah. If more people could do that and just own your crap and yeah. And a lot of things that happen to us are even, not even within our own control. Somebody may have done something to us, and like, is it worth carrying the shame around for something that, somebody else did to you too? It's not, it makes me sad to see so many people struggle in that way. So thanks for coming on, Dawn. Yes. Only I can help myself. Yes. I mean, you can only do so much with a therapist or somebody coaching you along, but in the end, you got to do it for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody can do it for you. You have to do that work in order to be better for you, better for your spouse or whoever. It's just, it all ties together. The way you think about yourself, like, are you talking bad to yourself in your head every day? Because that's going to just reflect out into your life. Like, if you constantly are like negative, like, you're just going to have negative things consistently pile on top of you. But if you're, shoot, this sucked, but okay, cool, let's move on from that. Like, this is a positive thing. Like, this happened to me today. Like, I believe that all these good things, like, I attract all the positive things. Like, that's what I want for my life. Like, everything that I'm destined to have is going to be mine.
Yeah.
And I just tell myself that every day.
Yeah. And you're worthy of it.
Yeah. We're worthy.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think you said earlier too, surrounding people with people that love you and support you too. That's huge. You got to get there, but they help you maintain that.
Yeah. And they might even be, like, my friends keep it real with me, and I appreciate that more than anything. Like, if I'm being sassy or, if I'm in the wrong, maybe at that time they're going to be like, yeah, you're right. But in the back, they're going to be like, okay, remember this time here? Like, like if it's like they're defending me with somebody or something, but then they're going to turn around and they'll be like, nah, girl, like, what was that? It's about like loving your friends, respecting them, and knowing that you guys aren't always going to agree, and it's okay to disagree and have your own feelings. It's okay. But as long as you guys are just like, with my friendships, I'm so grateful for the friends that I have, because like we're honest with each other. And, hey, when even when you're texting, like you sometimes I feel like you can just misconstrue messages so easy. And so it's always like, I always like to clarify. And like, my friends do that too. Like, we'll ask each other, hey, like, you said this, is this how you meant it? Or was it like this? Because if you said it this way, this hurt my feelings. So it's like, okay, well, that's not how I meant it. Like, and I love you and I'm sorry, like, it's just owning all of your things and being as open as you can in all your relationships.
Yeah. Don't jump to conclusions, because you just never know what,
Exactly. Ask questions.
We all need more Nickies in our lives.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
You got the person that makes you keep it real.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Like she is always the first one to be like, okay, I love you, but
Yes.
I'm like,
we
ooh.
all need those friends.
Yeah.
Yes. So, how can people get a hold of you guys if they want to do some training with you? Irving, do you still do the meal planning and stuff too?
Yep. Still do that as well.
And
Um,
your massage and
Yep. So I'll do like tissue work, and then I'll take training clients as well in person right now, down at Volve, and then I do online as well with people, whether it's just a training program on like tell me what to do at the gym, food wise, or come see me in person as far as have knee pain, back pain, any type of pain that you're trying to like get away from. For me, my website is www.musclerestoration.llc, or you can shoot me a message on Facebook, Instagram, on that.
Okay.
And his Instagram is Irving Polito. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
It's Irving Polito. So if you need him on Facebook or Instagram, it's the same. His first and last name. And his cute face.
There's Shalene's Facebook, yes. And if you can't find them and you want to connect, you can message me too, and I'll connect you with them as well. And they are two of the best huggers. So if you ever see them, ask them for a hug.
We love the hug.
They're super strong, so they hug you so tight.
Because sometimes I feel like you just never know who needs a good hug, and I feel like hugs are like just a good transfer of energy.
You do an amazing job. Like I feel it, like, and it's long. It's like a nice long.
I'm like trying to pour all my love. I'm just like, feel the love. Like I hope I'm filling you up with love.
Yes, thank you. I need to be a better hugger. Thanks,
You're
Phoenix.
a good hugger.
Oh, thanks.
Not quite as good as Irving, but you're good.
I was like
he's like, excuse me, I'm the hugger.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on and sharing about yourselves and your story. And I look forward to doing some more fun things together. So we'll see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, this was so great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. What's that?
Do you have any closing remarks?
Any closing remarks you guys have?
Listen to your gut. It'll tell you. I mean, things, if something doesn't feel right, you'll know it. And only you can be the decider of what's best for you and what isn't.
Yep. That's great. Yeah. Aw, look at them. And they're so in love. We took a dance class, was it a few months ago, and just so cute to see you guys.
And we still do every other week.
Show's on.
Oh, hey, Joe.
So next week I'll have the second best hugger on, Becky Youthy. So she does yoga at our meditation studio. So I'm going to have her on. She's a personal trainer as well and a yoga instructor. So we'll get to hear from Becky and possibly her husband coming on as well to talk about her spiritual journey and loss of a child and so many more things. She's a special unicorn like Shalene too.
Becky is awesome.
So, yes. So, all right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next Wednesday. Have an awesome week.
Bye.
Bye.